Welcome to Our World Shifted, where I help people turn their lives around. And today I got a topic that's just really been kind of near and dear to me, and it's how to think less. And I really just want to do this video because it's honestly been something I've been working on myself a lot recently. And yeah, I don't want to waste your time, get right into it. The first real thing I want to bring up on thinking less is, what is it that's making you think more? And like sometimes these is like complicated. Like if you're really stressed out about work, you can't always just necessarily avoid work. I mean, if you get a better job, granted, you should go get the better job. But I want to get into like the little real habits, and kind of like, for me personally, one of the things that really make me think too much is when I spend way too much time watching too much TV and playing way too much video games. If I watch too much TV, guaranteed the entire night I'm gonna be half awake, half sleeping, thinking about all the stuff that I watch, especially the more that's happened too. Like, you know, if you're watching a lot of TV and you're just sitting there watching people fish, and it's just like kind of calm, maybe even a game of baseball, just kind of calm and long-winded, maybe that's not gonna drive you so much thoughts. But if it's like you're watching TV that's very, very a lot of excitement, a lot of drama, a lot of action, just a lot's going on, that's really gonna help put a lot more anxiety in your mind. So that's like kind of where I wanted to open the video with before I get into how I've actually been dealing with it recently, is to really just kind of like take a assessment of your life and ask yourself, why are you thinking too much? Why did you click on this video? What are your habits that are making you think too much? And you know, even like having the wrong diet can make you think too much in more than one way. It could affect you thinking too much because maybe you just don't feel as good because you're not eating right, and in another sense, maybe you feel guilty about it, and that's you're having anxiety. So yeah, I want to just really kind of wrap on that point is, what is it you're actually thinking too much about? And the other thing I want to get into now is how to actually deal with it. So let's say you've assessed your life, maybe even pause the video, take a minute, ask yourself what habits are causing you to think too much. And like I said, for me, just watching way too much TV, if I watch a movie right before I go to sleep, I'm gonna be thinking about that movie in my sleep, and it kind of sucks because then I'm not sleeping well. So yeah, we're gonna ask you that question, and then we're gonna talk about how to deal with it. And this is gonna be like the kind of uncomfortable part of the video, the part that you may not like to hear, because actually dealing with it is really not that comfortable. And it starts with realizing what those habits are so you can cut them out, or at least lessen them. For me, I gotta watch less TV, play less video games. And then B, the really like uncomfortable thing is, if you really want to stop thinking so much, if you really want to think less, like if that's your real goal, you're really serious about this, is something you really want to do, the best solution I've ever found, and I made a meditation video that I got a bunch of different ways on how to meditate in there, you can check it out. But the best solution I've ever found really is, sometimes you got to sit there and wait out the crazy. Sometimes you got to sit there and wait out the thoughts and just let yourself think. Now, I've come to this like nice place here, nice, calm, quiet, and peaceful, and sometimes that helps, but you can't always go to a nice place. Sometimes it's in the middle of a situation where you're really stressed out. You got to sit there and let your thoughts process, let your thoughts go. What I really mean is, the way to stop thinking so much is to honestly just let your brain think all its thoughts out. Go somewhere where you can be alone, at your house, in your room. If you have to go to a park, or if you have to actually go somewhere, then maybe that's what you have to actually do, and sit there for as long as it takes for you to calm down. And just, it's gonna suck at first, it's not gonna feel good at first, but I promise you, you're gonna feel better the longer you do it. And you just kind of sit there. The easiest thing to do is to try to just get really in touch with the way you feel. Get really in touch with your body. You know, right now I'm sitting on something, so I get in touch with how it's actually uncomfortable, how that feels, and focus on that, as weird as that sounds. Or just see how your body feels, get yourself in your body, focus on how you feel, and just let your mind go. let your thoughts keep playing. Don't, if you sit there and you're like, oh, I don't want to think, or you're like, oh, let me just stop thinking, those are going to be the worst days of your life. It doesn't work like that. You're just adding thoughts to thoughts. Though if you take a completely reverse perspective to it, and you just let your brain play out its thoughts, you just let your brain think whatever it wants to think, and you just sit there peacefully, basically like you're listening to a radio station. And you have no control over what the radio station is playing, and you don't even care what the radio station is playing. You just let it play. If you can just go somewhere and you can just sit there, let the radio of your mind just play itself out, your thoughts are eventually, they're gonna go. They're gonna be processed, you're gonna think them out. Lots of times the thoughts, they just wanna be heard. They want to be heard. They want someone to fully think it out and just fully realize and process that thought, and then it'll go. So yeah, that's kind of really what I want to wrap on there with this video. That's kind of the whole point of this video. Is nothing too crazy. Is that first, ask yourself, what are your habits that are making you think too much? When you're up late at night, what are you thinking about? I mean, at least that's for me when I really notice I'm having anxiety when I can't sleep and I'm just up thinking a lot. What is it you're thinking about? Is it your work? Is it your relationships? Is it friends? Is it family? You know, or is it really something as simple as, for me, like I'm watching too much TV, and if all I did was watch less TV, I'd have less anxiety. And then the other thing, after you assess that, what are you thinking too much about? I mean, granted, you could also figure out how to deal with it, because if it's something like work-related, relationship, friends, and family, maybe it's a situation you actually need to confront, you need to deal with, something you've been avoiding dealing with. You know, maybe you're not in the right relationships. Maybe you're not working in the right places. Though that's not my place for me to judge right now. For me to say, that's for you to judge. That's for you to decide. If maybe there's just somewhere else you'd rather be, something else you should be doing instead. So yeah, fully assess yourself, figure out what habits you can at least lessen, figure out what things you could change in your life that are causing anxiety. And then the other real main thing is to just sit somewhere as long as you possibly can and just let those thoughts play out, and don't try to do anything about it. Don't try to sit there and think to yourself, oh, I shouldn't be thinking so much, or oh, why can't I just feel good? Just sit there, and if you wait long enough and you don't resist the thoughts, if you just leave them be, like you're just listening to a radio station, there's a squirrel over there. If you just leave them be like you're just listening to a radio station, eventually they're all gonna go, they're all gonna process, and you're not gonna be thinking so much. And this isn't just like a one-time thing. The last thing I wanna say in this video, it's not just like a one-time thing. Like you go somewhere one time, you sit there for a couple hours, and you're free for the rest of your life. It's more of like maybe every single day that you can, because maybe you just can't do it every single day, but every single day that you can, could be a couple times a week, could be every single day if you're free, but a couple times a week where you just take some time, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, as long as you can, and you just sit there and you just let your thoughts go. You just let your mind run wild. Just let the radio station play. And eventually the thoughts you're gonna, in a weird kind of sense, because it doesn't seem like it makes sense for someone who has a lot of anxiety, the thoughts are gonna run out. You're gonna start calming down. You're gonna start feeling better. You're gonna start taking better control of your life. And I'm honestly saying this because I'm going through this for myself right now. I know I was just building up a massive amount of anxiety. I've been avoiding doing the one thing that I really think I should do, which is working on these videos. Whether someone watches them or not, I think they're good for me. Just to even actually work on them is helping me grow too. But the day that I finally come here and I finally shoot this video is when I do it exactly what I'm telling you should do. And that was when I just was like, all right, I'm messing up my life too much, you know. I'm missing out on chances and opportunities I could be taking that could make my life a lot more better, a lot more fulfilling, a lot more happier. And all I'm doing is sitting here watching too many YouTube videos, you know. I mean, nothing wrong with watching a lot of YouTube videos, especially if they help you, but I was just watching just pure entertainment, just stuff to numb my mind so I wouldn't focus on, you know, life problems or life situations I have going. So it was just pure distraction, just pure stuff to just, so I'm not thinking about other things. But then I find myself up late at night thinking about those things a lot. So I had to sit there when I got home after going for a nice walk and decide that that's it. I just literally just missed out on a good opportunity to be friends with someone I would have liked to have been with because I was too busy thinking too much. And yeah, I decided I needed to just sit down, meditate as well as I can, let my thoughts process for several hours. And yeah, I didn't watch any more TV that night. Kind of getting to that point where I'm just rambling here. And then the point being though is that then I woke up the next day and I finally decided to come shoot a video. And I've been thinking about shooting videos for like the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. I've been planning more and more to shoot videos, but the day I finally got up the courage to go do it was the day I stopped thinking so much. And you know, that's really like another thing like I really want to say about the fact that thinking too much keeps you from doing things. And thinking too much is like you're walking down the street, maybe you see someone you want to talk to, and the reason you don't talk to them is because you're thinking too much. The reason you don't do something you know you should do or you want to do is because you're thinking too much about it. And once you start thinking too much about it, then you get stuck basically just sitting there thinking and you don't do anything. And not doing something is actually doing something in a way, and it's not doing things that could make your life a lot better. So that's the point of today's video. If I helped you in any way, feel free to subscribe, and please feel free to leave any comments, suggestions below of things you'd like me to talk about in a future video. I will see you guys next time. Whew.